Now, this is your chance, the audience, to ask Nikolai any questions you've had.
Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and musical influences, perhaps your teachers, and a little bit about life in Russia? So,
Well, as far as I remember, piano was always there. We had a dreadful upright at home, Soviet Union. So these instruments were either very old German ones, like we had, or it was something made in Soviet Union which was unplayable. Really, you've got to try to believe how bad it could be done. And the instrument was there, and it was a natural part of life. My parents were not musical, but they loved music, and mom could sing quite well. And we also had music from vinyls. So one of the first influences was Rachmaninoff with his recording of Second Piano Concerto. So when being nearly 6 years old, I've been taken to the music school to get through exams. Quite proudly played Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto. Well, of course, with hands like that, I couldn't play all, but I knew every note in there, even in the orchestra, everything complete. And that was important. Cultural life, well, Soviet Union was separated from the West. That's probably why there are differences which you call Russian piano school. By the way, Russian piano school was established from a great Russian composer, John Field, who was actually Irish, and he just went to St. Petersburg, then Moscow. He taught composers, he taught pianists, and you have to understand that at that time there were no professional pianists yet. That kind came later, and he left a huge influence. And then one of his features was that he used the natural weight of his arms. That's what Clementi didn't use. Clementi, who was formerly his teacher, he didn't know how to do it, and he was quite happy with his ways. And John Field taught this way. Then, quite a lot after, Theodor Leschetizky started teaching this way at the St. Petersburg Conservatoire as probably the most flexible, the most all the ways approach to play the piano. Really, why should you expend your energy if gravity does half of it? You should just use it. Let alone that if you don't use a natural arm weight, you can't play legato, and that's essential. So perhaps many composers and performers of the past, like Chopin, like Liszt, they used it. But then it was in Russia, it was continued, well developed, and that created some differences. We had some fantastic performers who never traveled to the West, so you only can know their names by a few recordings, if you know them. Like Maria Yudina, like Vladimir Sofronitsky, like Nathan Rachlin, absolutely genius conductor, never traveled abroad. But there is his recording of Manfred Symphony by Tchaikovsky, and this is the one. It's the best Tchaikovsky ever. Never heard anything better of Tchaikovsky. And that was all very important, and we went to concerts. At that time, if you were studying music as a pupil of music school or conservatoire, you had access to most of concerts for free. It's only when it was completely a sellout, something really, really big, then you have to go and buy the ticket. Otherwise, it's part of your profession, so go and learn. And that was important. And at some stage around the 6th year at the school, I got so tired of scales and studies, which to me they didn't mean music. It was, yet again, waste of time, of my time, precious one. And I just went to the headmaster of the school and I said, I don't want to continue anymore. Because this is not music, this is not why I came to the school. I'll try to go and find it elsewhere. But my first teacher, Anna Kantor, who also, when I finished Mnessin's music school, graduated from there, Evgeny Kissin just entered. And he studied with her, so we had the same teacher. She was a very clever woman and great teacher, and she said, okay, let's make an agreement. For exams, you will have to play some scales, some studies, because this is, official requirement. We can't go any further without. But I promise that the rest you play, it will be music. And it was. And then, funnily enough, I only decided to become a professional performer when I was in my second year at the Moscow Conservatoire. But it happened and continues.
Just finally, before we let you go off and get ready, whether you have any advice then for today's young musician?
Well, the best advice I can give them probably is to live in music all the time, not switching off. Because music is like pregnancy in some way. If you are pregnant only 3 hours a day, don't expect that anything will happen. If it is 24 hours a day, then after 9 months, maybe. Same thing with music. Exactly the same. And if you live in it, if you live with it, then you can achieve the results.
Okay. Thank you very much. Come along to Venue Cymru for our next pre-concert event on the 15th of May at 6:30 p.m. This time, we put the music of Tchaikovsky into context, before the famous Bolshoi Symphony Orchestra perform extracts from his ballet and opera music.
For more information, please see our website www.venuecymru.co.uk. Thank you for listening.